This is Christian Gomez with the New American Magazine, and today we are joined with anti-communist author, filmmaker, and researcher Trevor Loudon. Trevor, it's great to have you back on the program again.
It's always great to be on, Christian. A pleasure. Thank you.
So you've probably heard the news, Trevor, that the former Newark mayor turned U.S. Senator for the state of New Jersey, Cory Booker, has announced his bid to run for the presidency of the United States. So right now we have more horses entering the race, so to speak, for the White House on the Democratic Party side. So what are your thoughts about Cory Booker? Is he a trustworthy, all good American patriotic Democrat? Or is there more to him? Is he connected with the radical left? Should we be concerned about the potential of a Booker presidency? Should he win his party's nomination and the presidency?
Yes, you should. He is very much part of the same group of people that gave you Kamala Harris. And I think Kamala Harris will come out on top, and Cory Booker may end up on the VP spot, or he may not end up on the ticket at all, but he is one of the chosen ones. And when I say the left, I'm talking basically Power Pack, which is a run out of San Francisco by a guy called Stephen Phillips. Now, he started his political career as a young Maoist communist revolutionary at Stanford University in the 80s. He was active with the League of Revolutionary Struggle. He was also active with Jesse Jackson's Rainbow Coalition. And as you remember, Jesse Jackson ran twice for president, 84 and 88, got 7 million votes in the second run by uniting white progressives, black progressives, brown progressives, Asian American, Native American, gay American, Muslim American progressives. So you had this rainbow coalition, and they called it's identity politics. You are defined by your race. That's how you must vote. But Steve Phillips became very wealthy. He married into the Sandler family from San Francisco, which had $2.6 billion, half of which they put into the progressive movement. And Steve Phillips became their envoy to the Democratic Party and also to the Democracy Alliance, which is George Soros and Tom Steyer and Norman Lear, about 150 left-wing billionaires and multimillionaires who provide huge amounts of funding for Democratic candidates and causes. Now, the Booker connection, the Harris connection. At Stanford University, Steve Phillips was very close to a young woman called Maya Harris. Now, that is Kamala Harris's sister, and he has backed Kamala Harris with his money right from the very beginning. She often appears at his events. She's part of his operation. She is his protege. Now, Cory Booker was a personal friend of Steve Phillips at Stanford University. And again, Steve Phillips put all the money in, several $1 million, to get Cory Booker elected as the governor of New Jersey, and has promoted his career ever since. The plan is to rerun the Rainbow Coalition strategy in 2020. Candidates of color at the top of the ticket, energize the Black, Native American, Asian American, Latino base, do massive voter registration drives in the southern states, and win with 53% of the vote. Christian, would you like me to read a little quote from Steve Phillips that says where he's coming from and what he thinks of Cory Booker?
Yes, please enlighten our audience.
Okay, this was from 2012. It's from Steve Phillips's blog, and this was when Cory Booker was running for the Senate for New Jersey. This is what Steve Phillips says about him. Every progressive person in America should support Cory Booker's campaign for U.S. Senate. Lest there be any confusion on the left, allow me to make the case for why this needs to be a priority for all progressive-minded people. First, let me make clear that I come out of the left. I've studied Marx, Mao, and Lenin. In college, I organized solidarity efforts for freedom struggles in South Africa and Nicaragua, and I palled around with folks who considered themselves communists and revolutionaries. And I did my research paper on the Black Panther Party. My political baptism was Jesse Jackson 1984 presidential campaign, and I've drawn my inspiration from Malcolm, Martin, and Mandela. That's Nelson Mandela, the communist, rather than Democratic Party triumvirate of Kennedy, Carter, and Clinton. So it is with that background and perspective that I consider the candidacy of Cory Booker, and I believe every progressive in America should enthusiastically support Cory for the following reasons. And then he goes on to state, he's a champion of the poor, he's a progressive, blah, blah, blah. But that's where Cory Booker's mentor is coming from, which should show you the direction that Cory Booker would take this country.
And the kind of people he'd probably have around it. Well, there you have it. The perceived blue wave headed to the White House in 2020 is looking very, very red, with Kamala Harris, Cory Booker, and the Marxist-Leninist connections that you have brought up, and even Bernie Sanders throwing his hat into the race, or at least thinking about it. It looks like the communists are running for the White House. Well, thank you, Trevor, for bringing this information to our attention, and we hope to have you back on again as we continue to cover the race to the White House for 2020. Thank you.